The story begins with a man named Milo Stanfield, a brilliant yet socially isolated individual due to his autism. We see him standing on a street in New Jersey, his eyes fixed on a woman inside a nearby flower shop. At the same time, his mind is calculating complex timings of everything happening around him with incredible precision. Milo notices a bus approaching, a pothole in the street, a street artist displaying his paintings, and a man speeding by on a bicycle. After carefully observing all these details, he calmly crosses the street and places a pen on top of a mailbox next to the pothole. Seconds later, his strange plan is set into motion. A taxi drives over the pothole, splashing the collected water onto the pen, knocking it to the ground. The street artist notices it and steps toward it to pick it up. At that exact moment, the cyclist crashes into the artist, sending him flying into the mailbox and tumbling into a nearby fruit stand. Chaos erupts in the street, distracting everyone, even the bus driver. As a result, he fails to notice the light turning red and accidentally runs over the woman crossing the street. She dies instantly. Milo calmly whispers, "Mathematics isn't dangerous," and walks away quietly, fully assured that his plan unfolded exactly as he wanted. The scene then shifts to an FBI agent named Olivia Dunham, who works in a special division of national security responsible for investigating bizarre and supernatural phenomena. Olivia has just returned to duty after a long absence due to a brain injury. As soon as she walks into the agency headquarters, she is greeted by her colleague Charlie, who currently leads the team. Meanwhile, Director Walter Bishop speaks with lab assistant Philip Broyles about Olivia's return. Philip reveals a shocking truth. This is not the original Olivia. This is a copy and imposter named Olivia. Philip worries about whether the team will be able to integrate with her, and we learn that the Olivia in the office is not the real one. She's merely a replacement brought in to fill the void. Walter explains his plan. They need to keep Olivia in this world. They implanted the real Olivia's memories into her because she's the only one capable of traveling between parallel worlds unharmed. His goal is to discover how she can do it. Walter also says they must make her truly believe she belongs to this world. Philip asks, "What if she doesn't believe it?" Walter responds coldly, "Then she won't be of any use." Meanwhile, Charlie gathers the team and briefs them on the strange bus incident, which has already occurred twice in the same week. Shortly after, the FBI team arrives at the crime scene and begins searching for evidence. The investigation is led by Agent Lincoln Lee, whose face is scarred by severe burns. Charlie examines the victim's body and takes her fingerprints to learn more. Eventually, they discover that the woman killed was named Julian Foster. At the same time, Olivia questions the terrified bus driver, who insists it was the first time in his life he'd ever hit anything. Lincoln checks for any environmental factors that could have caused the crash but finds nothing. However, they do find the same pen lying at the crime scene. After interviewing witnesses, Olivia tells Lincoln that the street artist had tried to pick up the pen but was struck by the cyclist and fell into the fruit stand. Lincoln then realizes that the pen triggered the entire chain of events that ultimately led to the victim's death. The next day at headquarters, Lincoln and Charlie try to connect the dots between the two incidents. Lincoln notices that the same pen appeared in photos of the first accident, confirming that someone is meticulously orchestrating everything. They consult with Astrid, a mathematician in the agency, and explain what happened. But Astrid dismisses the idea, saying it's impossible for a single human being to arrange all this twice in their favor. Yet, as they are discussing it, another bus accidentally similar to the previous one soccers right outside. Astrid is stunned. The FBI agents rush to the new scene. This time, the victims are still alive. Witnesses reveal that a dog suddenly ran into the street, causing the driver to lose control of the bus. Then, Olivia notices a pen rolling on the ground and instantly realizes the chain of events isn't over. She looks around and spots Milo standing on a bridge, silently watching from afar. Seconds later, a man wearing headphones tries to cross the street, but an ambulance speeding at full force hits him. Clearly, the paramedic was in a hurry to complete his route. At that moment, Olivia is certain her suspicions are correct. She calls her team and starts chasing Milo. Seeing her, Milo quickly calculates his next moves and throws a bicycle off the bridge. It lands in front of a bus, forcing it to swerve under the bridge. Olivia steps in front of him, draws her gun, and orders him to surrender. But Milo doesn't comply. Instead, he leaps off the bridge onto the bus's roof and escapes effortlessly. It's clear No is not just a mathematical genius, he's also a master manipulator of chaos. Later, Milo returns home, where his sister Madeline anxiously waits. Her face is filled with worry. She tells him she keeps receiving calls from the hospital, but he ignores her completely. She pleads with him to turn himself in before things spiral further out of control, but Milo is always one step ahead. He finishes her sentences before she can even speak, silencing her calmly. Then, Madeline hands him a small plastic toy horse as a memory of their mother. The moment Milo sees it, he becomes visibly tense, puts it aside, and says, "This isn't necessary right now." Meanwhile, Agent Lee visits the hospital for a routine checkup on his facial burns. Before entering the treatment room, he tells Olivia to focus on finding a common link between the three victims. Olivia takes his advice seriously and returns to headquarters, interviewing the accident witnesses one by one. After some investigation, she discovers a strange connection between the three victims and a specific medical center. They were all directly or indirectly linked to that place. Olivia shares her findings with Charlie, and together they rush to the medical center. Upon arrival, Olivia notices some patients using the same type of pen found at the crime scenes because they struggle with digital devices like tablets. They then meet Dr. W. Levin, the center's director, who reveals that he knew all three victims. He explains that the center was testing new treatments to enhance the intelligence of patients with cognitive impairments. He shows them some patient recordings, and among them, Olivia spots Milo in a video. When they ask about him, Dr. Levin says Milo was one of their patients and had undergone an experimental drug therapy that dramatically increased his intelligence. However, he was released under the care of his sister Madeline and was supposed to return to the hospital to reduce the drug's effects. Now, Milo no longer responds to their calls and eliminates anyone who tries to control him. Realizing Milo has a sister, the FBI agents decide to visit her unaware that Milo is already observing Olivia closely, calculating her every move before she even makes it. Soon, Charlie and Olivia arrive at Milo's house, where Madeline greets them. When they ask about Milo's whereabouts, she pretends not to know anything. Sensing she's hiding something, they tell her about the crimes he's committed and warn her that he's a dangerous threat if left free. Charlie searches Milo's room while Olivia stays with Madeline. Olivia shares a personal story about her own sister, who died, and how they always cared for each other. This comforts Madeline and encourages her to open up more about Milo. She explains that he can predict every single thing happening around him, even the tiniest details. But there's only one thing that truly unsettles him: seeing his old toy horse. It disrupts his focus and throws him off balance. Olivia convinces her to help them, assuring her they're not just trying to protect others, but also Milo himself. Madeline eventually gives them a piece of paper with the address of the hotel where Milo is hiding. Olivia and Charlie then meet with Astrid to plan how to capture him, but they quickly realize no plan will work. He can calculate their every move before they make it. So, they decide to head straight to the hotel without backup. Honestly, it's unclear what they expected to gain from this, but they had no better choice. Meanwhile, Milo is in his hotel room, standing by the window, mentally visualizing every possible scenario that will happen in the next few minutes. He calculates everything down to the second and knows that Olivia and Charlie are coming for him. Milo devises a plan to lure Olivia into an area with dangerously low oxygen levels, intending to drop heavy bricks on her to kill her instantly. Just as planned, Olivia and Charlie arrive at the hotel and find Milo waiting outside. He runs toward a construction site and they chase him. Olivia, unaware of the low oxygen warning signs, enters the hazardous zone without putting on a breathing mask. This reckless move disrupts all of Milo's calculations. She hadn't predicted she would be so bold. When he tries to drop the bricks on her, she manages to dodge them effortlessly. Milo is stunned as he watches his plan fail right in front of him. In the end, Olivia captures him. But by then, she's on the verge of losing consciousness from oxygen deprivation. Luckily, Charlie arrives just in time with the breathing apparatus and saves her. Afterward, Charlie asks her why she didn't put on the mask when she saw the warning signs. She replies that she didn't understand what the symbol meant. Later, Olivia visits the hospital with Madeline, where they see Milo sitting silently in front of a massive computer. The doctor explains that the drug enhancing his intelligence has permanently altered his brain, making it impossible to return him to normal. His mind is now far beyond human comprehension. Only machines can truly understand him. Madeline, filled with sorrow, walks into the room and quietly places the old toy horse in front of him. That night, Olivia sits alone at home when she suddenly has a vision of Peter, her lover from another universe. He tells her she doesn't belong here, not to this world. He reminds her how her lack of knowledge about this universe once saved her life. If she had understood the signs back then, she might have died. Peter encourages her to try to remember her true memories. Before fading away, he softly says goodbye. And that's where this haunting story leaves us, with one lingering question: how much of what we believe is truly our Sand? How much is just part of someone else's plan? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, stay tuned for more thrilling breakdowns of hidden cinematic gems.